Hey, it's your favorite Geek Toolkit. It's good to be back. And I'm going to start out with one of my favorite geek tools. We're going to talk about lasers today. I'm going to plan an entire series around lasers to kind of get my channel going again. It's been a while. I'm finally getting back into this. And laser safety is the obvious place to start. Now, we'll talk about four areas that you should be aware of with laser safety: eye protection, the fumes and stuff that comes off of it. We'll talk about things that you should not cut with a laser. And we'll also talk about fire safety with lasers. So, these are four things that I've learned. We're going to talk about the dangers and then we'll talk about the mitigations, how to protect yourself and features of lasers to basically make sure stuff doesn't happen. The end of this video, you shouldn't be scared. You should be informed and you should understand that lasers are like any other dangerous tool. If you respect them and understand them and are aware, they can be very safe because you'll know how to protect yourself and you'll have that familiarity with what to do. Let's talk about the first danger, which is the light of the laser. Now, a lot of people know the light of the laser can blind you, but did you know it can blind you before you can even blink? That's the intensity of how much light is coming out of those. The other thing to know is like CO2 lasers, you can't even see them because they don't operate in the visible spectrum. It's actually an invisible laser, I believe in ultraviolet. But the point being that it's a different frequency. The reason that matters is that means that when you get your eye protection, the color of this lens is irrelevant. The frequency the eye protection blocks is relevant. So you want to match that to the laser that you have. And the reason you want to know it is even if it comes with a set of eye protection, you still want to buy other certified eye protection for any members of your family, any friends, anyone else that would ever be in range of that laser. So I always keep two pairs of glasses near my laser. That way, somebody else, if I have them near, it's right there, easy to get. And I find when safety equipment's easy, it's going to get used. Now, I use four different things to protect my laser. Eye protection is one of them. Another one actually came on the laser. It's a feature, and this is for my diode lasers. They typically have a little bit of a lens at the bottom to help protect you. That only works when the lens is really close to the workpiece. If you're cutting and the workpiece falls away, then that can reflect off the table or off of whatever it's on, and you can still get splashback of the light. So it's not 100% protection, but it is a safety thing that helps. For me, the biggest thing that really helps me out is I use an enclosure. Enclosures will typically have a window, and you can match the window frequency blocking to the laser. Now, you've got two things. You need to match the frequency, you need to match the optical density. The optical density of the eyewear or the window is how much of the light will protect you. For me, I don't like to guess, so I just simply get the enclosure that is meant for the laser I buy, and then I'll wear the eye protection whenever I'm near it. I typically will stay near my laser jobs and watch them, but I watch them using a webcam, typically like a Wise Cam or something cheap that I've got in there. You can use a baby monitor, basically something like that, so that I'm not actually looking at the job and watching it the entire time. We'll talk about that more when we get to fire, about why you'd want to watch your laser jobs, but that's the three of the four things. Now, what's the fourth one? The fourth thing is a locked door and a process for anyone that wants to get through the door. And what I mean here is that if you're operating a laser, you think about a family member coming through the door, they probably don't have eye protection on. They probably don't realize you have a laser on working. So that's why you typically see laser signs on the outside say, hey, warning, laser in progress, or this is a room where a laser is, just to let people know. But also, I find locking the door is a really good deterrent from somebody walking through and inadvertently getting hit by a laser. Okay, so that covers the protection of a laser. Make sure that your eyes are protected. What's the next thing? The next thing is mystery materials, I call them. You do not burn mystery materials. If you do not know that something is laser safe, please do not put it in the laser. You'll be amazed at the things, and not only that are bad to put in lasers, but deadly to put in lasers. I'll give you a simple example: records. There are a ton of people that see carved records and they're like, I want to do that on a laser. It looks like they're done on a laser. They're not. They're typically done with a hot knife, or there's other methods, water jet, CNC, stuff like that. Putting a record into a laser is a really bad idea. It's vinyl. Vinyl, when it gets heated up by a laser, releases, I believe it's chlorine gas, and then that turns into sulfuric acid when it mixes with water. Don't quote me on the chemistry, but look up images of people who have burned records with their laser. It's not just deadly noxious gas coming out. It's something so corrosive it destroys the metal of the laser. That's how bad it is. So very long answer to do not burn mystery things. Another one to know about is polycarbonate, sometimes called Lexan, different names for it. It looks just like acrylic. Acrylics that are laser safe, you can cut all day long. Lexan, not so much. So these things can give off noxious gases. They can burn the laser out. They can poison you. Please don't burn mystery things. PVC, plastics, ABS, anything like that. You know, you might go, oh, I just want to engrave it. No, please. It's not meant for the laser. Don't put it in the laser. Materials are very dangerous with lasers. It's very different than other things like CNCs where it might be safe to cut through them. Lasers, it's a totally different ballgame. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is fumes. Even if you are burning the safe materials like woods, leather, oh, leather smells so bad, acrylics and so on, it doesn't smell great. And you don't want to be breathing in the particulates of whatever you're burning. So the way to do this is basically put an enclosure on the laser. If it's a diode, CO2 should come in an enclosure and then vent it outside. Typically you get an air, a fan that's in line. You put that into like a 4-inch pipe and you pipe it outside. You can pipe it through a window. I have a garage door. I open it a crack and I vent it out there. Even in the winter, I'll do that. The other way to do it is an air filter. They make air filters that are specific for lasers, and that will help clean the smoke, but and release a cleaner air. For me, I've never had as much success with those. I like having it vented outside as my number one. Now, something to know about venting it outside. Even if you're on like a second story, don't keep the air vent year round open. What you're doing is you're bringing in condensation. It's coming through that tube and it'll go right into your laser and it can damage the laser. So you want to have a setup where you can crack the window, put it in the window and then vent out. And then when you're done, you pull it in, close the window. That way your laser is not taking the outside air and condensation into it. The next thing we're talking about is fire safety. Fire safety boils down to a couple things. One is don't leave the laser unattended. Keep an eye on it, keep a webcam on it. You know, you don't have to stare at the job all the time, but keep a webcam and be in the room or near it. I treat it like a toddler. Like I treat it as something that if I'm not looking or keeping an eye on or watching it, it's going to do something bad the minute that I'm not paying attention. The other thing is I keep it in an enclosure, which kind of goes with the toddler thing of a playpen, I guess. But yeah, I keep it in an enclosure. The laser enclosure that's made for my lasers, that's the one I get. Now, of course, my CO2 came with an enclosure. It always should. But you want to have it so if there is a fire, it's in a metal box. So I have an enclosure over the top. And then one of my enclosures is only a top, like it goes over the top. So below the enclosure, I have a steel sheet. And then I keep that on a metal table. Basically, what I'm trying to do is make it like an oven where it has nothing to catch other than the material that it's burning if something does go wrong. You want to rob it of fuel so that it can't get big enough that it becomes a problem. By staying there and watching it and having it in an enclosure, and then of course keep a fire blanket and a fire extinguisher nearby, you've got yourself basically protected. Now there's one thing that will help reduce the chance of fire, and that is an air assist. An air assist will blow air into the cut as you're cutting it. It's a great feature for that. That will help prevent flare-ups. You'll get to cut with less power. You can cut a bit faster and cleaner. And I find all of those help prevent fires, but none of them are 100% guaranteed because one of the fires I had, the laser just broke. The x-axis stopped, it jammed, and that's all it took to start a fire, and there was nothing I could do about that. So that really told me that it really is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Something will go wrong eventually and you'll have a fire to deal with. And if you're there paying attention in an enclosure, you're going to be good to go. The last thing is a general safety tip for anything that you do, be it table saws or lasers or whatever, any geek tool that you're going to work with, anytime you're doing something dangerous. And that is make sure that you're in a serene place. If you're in a rush, if you are tired, inebriated, agitated, anything like that, that's all it may take to skip a step and put yourself in a bad spot. So just approach it with some serenity and everything will be shiny. Thank you for watching. I'm Joe Farrow with Geek Toolkit, and I am so looking forward to this really geeky laser series that I'm going to do. I hope you join me for that ride. I will be working on part 1. I've got a project in mind, and I'm going to teach everything from the parts of the laser to how to use light burn, why to use light burn, and then we're going to do some layered art and some other cool projects. So I figure it'll be about 3 to 4 videos, and I hope you join me there. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time.